Good morning. Good morning. Another wacky week, huh? Oh well. Thanks for joining us this morning. Cup of coffee. Sitting out in nature. For those of you who haven't been to my house, this is the front lawn. I don't have a lawn. I have a food forest, so we can feed ourselves in the event that we might have to be quarantined. My grandfather, he used to say, preparedness is best done in advance. So, let's advance on the day, shall we? Listen, you know how I like to do. I like to start it with a prayer. If it doesn't begin right, how's it gonna end right? So, let's start, shall we? Iko mako e maku I loko kalani. Mahalo pia naku e. Mai kaunalipo. Mai kaunalipo. Mai kahikina. Mai kaulana. E hele mai oi atu e. E hele mai e ku. A hina. A tangaroa. A tāne. E hele mai e kanaha. E kalai. E kanawai. E hele mai oi e au makua. Mahalo ke akua. As above, so below. May it be on earth as it is in heaven. Please, give us this day and forgive us. Please, help us to forgive. Please, no temptation and no evil. Mahalo ke akua. May we be a blessing to each other. Mahalo ke akua. May you be a blessing to us all. Oh, we better get inside. I got guests waiting on Zoom. I got people in the living room. But you know me, it's a slow start. It's that Sunday 7 o'clock, which is an almost 7 a.m. in the morning. Close enough to 7 a.m. A Hawaiian kind of 7 a.m. in the morning. You guys head inside. I'll see you in there.
It speaks to me of danger, I have watched the tides of change in a homeland overrun with strangers, of a people lost at sea, drift amid the noise and the frustration, losing all they hold dear, giving in to all of their fears. Still my course remains clear. Paleuli, Paleuli. I have listened Paleuli, Paleuli,
Hey, aloha kakahiaka, aloha, and good morning to y'all. Hope you got your coffee or your tea or your ava, whatever floats your boat this morning. Thank you for joining us for our second edition of Hindsite 2020, where we attempt during this corona lockdown to bring encouragement and hope and excitement into your life. How are we going to get through this, Lahui? We're going to do it with the help of Keakua. And I am here in our studio with our host, Kalani Souza. Good morning, Kalani.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good out there. You know, I purposely went to the Church of the Grateful Dead this morning. You know, I figured we got to wake ourselves up.
Woohoo, I'm a deadhead. The Church of the Grateful Dead. Well, coming up in the show, we've got some exciting guests that are going to be joining us, depending on our tack. Remember, this is our beginnings of this show, so bear with us as we figure out our technology, and hopefully Keakua Goddess up there is going to be taking care of all the energy in the machineries over here.
Oh, ain't that the truth? You know, every morning we are subject to the technology. And there you go. Once again, so we're getting our partners lined up, and we're attempting to do something very unusual here. We're attempting to do community. Oh, hey.
There you are.
She goes, there I am. She goes, it's on the tea plant. It's on the tea plant. That's me, believe it or not. That's Kalani sitting
kind
at
of
the
a
desk.
tea plant.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm talking to you guys, and I'm sitting out there like the light. Can I help? I think my heart is still outside there in the forest. But this is a new day. We all get locked inside our houses. This is a brand new thing for us all, but we're experiencing it that way.
Really lots of fun producing and creating shows. And we're going to be doing much more. As you know, I host Songs of Sovereignty on Wednesdays on Facebook Live. So please join us every Wednesday on Facebook Live for Songs of Sovereignty. We're also now posting up to YouTube, and we have a website, songsofsovereignty.com. So we'll see you on Wednesday with all of our sovereignty news and music. But in the meantime, we're going to have a nice, uplifting Sunday morning.
That's what we do here.
So what's your favorite Grateful Dead song?
Oh, I guess I'm a big Levon fan, you know what I mean? So I gotta go with probably The Wait.
The Wait.
Yeah.
Sing us a couple bars.
And it's a band tune that the Dead used to do at the show, you know. You know, take a load off, Fanny. Take a load for free.
Yes, yes. Well, I was at the Oregon Country Fair this past year. It was the 50th Oregon Country Fair. And sadly, all the gang in Eugene watching this morning, we're not sure that the Oregon Country Fair is going to go on this year, but we will keep you informed about that, because if you go to the Church of Grateful Dead, that is their biggest church, the Oregon Country
yeah,
Fair.
baby. Everybody knows that. So we're wishing well to the good folks out there in Eugene.
Yeah.
I got one of my
gang.
really good friends from Hilo Town lives out there in Eugene, too, and you know, always been a deep connection between the Oregon coast and the Hawaii Kingdom. So,
Yes.
you guys be safe, take care of one another, be kind. It's Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. And
Go out and do something kind for somebody. Now, hey, Caillou,
yeah.
let's introduce everybody. We got a bunch of guests on the show. I'm going to bring you all to the screen one time and try something different.
Oh, wow. It feels like Brady Bunch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so on with us this morning via Zoom, it's so amazing. My dear mentor and friend, Hank Fergestrom, I call him Hanalei. He is joining us from Mountain View via Zoom. And so Camera 4. Yeah, there we go. There he is. There's everybody.
Hey,
Wow, Brady Bunch.
Hank, my man, I'm so glad to see you there.
And then joining us from the downside of Honoka'a, Jimmy Love. Aloha, Jimmy.
Good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning.
How
Nice to see your
everybody.
smiling face.
Yeah.
And then joining us from California, Mickey Lani Young, who has been doing unified prayer for 542 days today. Is it 542, Mickey Lani?
522 days.
522 days of unified prayer that she's kept this going. So welcome to Hindsite, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Hindsite 2020.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you.
Ah.
Aloha.
Well, I
Good
want to
morning.
start with
Aloha.
you, Uncle Hank, because I never see your face long time around here. How you doing up in Mountain View? What's new and exciting in your life?
The exciting thing in my life right now is that my computer is dead. I can't seem to get it cranked up, so I'm using my tablet right now.
Yeah.
He's resourceful. He's doing that adaptation thing. That's what you got to know about Hank. Well, those of us that know Hank, we know he knows how to innovate in a pinch. You know, he always comes up with a different way to solve the problem.
And if
Is that like making a pipe out of an apple?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it works well.
or a papaya stem.
Oh, yeah.
Those work well also.
Right on. And maybe we should go to Mickey Lani and why don't you share with us what you've been doing? We're seeing you all over the place. We saw you a couple weeks ago in at UC Davis.
UC Davis.
And praying with all of the natives over there, along with some of our people that joined you over in Cali. So let's talk about your journey that you've been on for 522 days.
Ew.
Okay, so aloha everybody. I'm Mickey Lani Young. I'm from Kakuhi Helva. Been residing here on Mokuhonu, Turtle Island. And actually for the past 6 years, I've been traversing and sharing about Mauna Kea and our Hawaiian Kingdom. And for the last 522 days, been doing live feeds on Facebook, sharing the prayers, unifying people, letting them know that the first course of action is prayer, that prayers and action go together. But for the past 6 years and the 522 days, I've been traversing all over Turtle Island, unifying, connecting, going into ceremonies with First Nations people here on Mokuhonu, Turtle Island, aka America. Just recently, I was up at UCLA with Auntie Laulani Tio and some of our PISA students, Pacific Island Student Association, who graciously hosted us so that we could make ourselves present for the Mauna at the Board of Regents meeting. And Auntie Laulani, who took care of a lot of the logistics, and I brought in ceremony so that we connected the two so that we could, make sure that Keakua was present with us for whatever we are doing, because we are standing for our sacred Mauna. So that's what I've been doing for the past 522 days in a nutshell. Auntie?
Joining you. Wow, that's amazing, Mickey Lani. I notice you have a lot of people joining you, and wherever you are, there seems to be like you had a lot of students participating, and what an amazing thing, and what a way to impact young people's lives by bringing them together and pointing them spiritually, to look up, to go to the young people and say, hey, let's look up for a minute. Let's say some prayers together. And that's really encouraging, because not a lot of people will have that type of bravery to approach young people and say, hey, you guys want to pray? Because last time I asked someone to pray with me, they're like,
Well, Auntie Kayulan has been amazing because it's our traditions, and I was on several feeds yesterday, in different groups. I've been able to maneuver through because of our culture, because of our traditions, and I tell people this is what I feel, that our traditions is what's going to heal the world, and this is why protecting Mauna Awakea, protecting Buyong Puyok, which is AKA Mount Shasta, protecting Dokosabi, San Francisco Peak, protecting Chichobe Dogote Oak Flat. We need to protect these sites because it's people's traditions and how they come in a prayerful way. And what's been amazing, because I have many home bases. I'm basically, I guess what the natives call a nomad, and my family from Hunana Niho said, no, you are voyager, Mikilani. So I've been just going from house to house, and what happens is the way they follow, it's like hula. You dance hula, you kumu dance. In the old days, they just dance and you just follow. And so just like Auntie Kayulani, I know you've seen little Kayla, my niece here, my tita Desiree, who's been standing with me for Mauna Kea here in California. But I just get up, I do my business, I get outside, I do burn sage because of the First Nations people teaching me and adopting me. So I gather sage the way I would gather palapalai, lawa'e, whatever it is I'm gathering. I come in a prayerful way. And so she watches me, and every single household there's been children. And believe it or not, like when I would go, they're like, where are you going, Auntie? Where are you going, Kumu? I go, oh, I'm going to go pray. Can we go with you? Can we pray with you? And what happens is they just follow by example. They just watch me and then they just do. And so that's how little Kayla, who's been with me for now, I've been with them for a little over a week, but for 7 days only. What you've seen, Auntie Kayulani, is 7 days of her just being prayerful with me and learning the dances and how to pray. I don't teach her, I just do.
So let me ask you this. If you were talking to someone who is searching because life's really rough for them right now, and we're on lockdown, a lot of us don't have money, we don't have jobs. What's hurting me the most is I can't go beach. I can't access what I need for my spiritual strength. That's my church, yeah? So, and I want to cry because I miss the ocean so much. I can't imagine, you must really miss the ocean with all your journeying. But if you were to be talking to a person watching right now that's really down and it just crashed.
Oh yeah, you see, that's really down. You see that's really down was probably the big cue there. And the big cue is, wow, the whole world must be on Zoom, because it keeps tipping out this morning, even on the muted. Personal line. So
it says we're muted.
How interesting is that?
We're back up.
Okay, we're back
up. Yeah, Jimmy, them are back up.
Mikilani's gone.
Jimmy.
Hey.
Jimmy, take over for that question. I know I don't really know what your spiritual protocols are, or if you have any, but talk about what you do to encourage yourself when you're feeling down during this time.
Oh, let's see. Well, I want to reflect on what you were saying too about asking Mikilani about, and she's maybe back now.
Back.
Yes, I am.
Oh, Jimmy was going to take over.
Yeah, I'm ready to take over.
Hey, watch out. Be careful when you say that and you're a big white guy.
Yeah, no, I just walk into a room and people start running.
Yeah, I'm with you, baby. I'm with you.
So stand by, Mikilani. When Jimmy was the first one back, I asked him, okay, take over where we left off. Jimmy, what do you do when you're feeling lost and scared? And, how do you come to terms with what's happening right now? What do you do to encourage yourself? So go for it, Jimmy.
First thing is I never admit when I'm scared.
Right.
No, just kidding.
Never see him let him see you sweat, right?
Yeah, no, can't do that. So, first thing, of course, is to remember how grateful I should be for whatever I have that makes me feel good and allows me to calm myself. Like my loved ones, the beautiful island of Hawaii that I'm lucky enough to live in. So that's kind of what I do. And, you know, you were talking about working with kids. That's something I've always enjoyed. I was on the school board for 20 years. I coached Little League for 35 years. And one morning I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for a school board meeting, and the kids are getting off the bus and going into school. And it came to me like, you know, one of those epiphanies comes. These are the angels. These are the angels that the Bible talks about.
You.
And, you know, this is our job to take care of them and make it a safe place for them because, you know, that's what else could we do that would be better?
Ooh, let's back to Mickey Lani. Let's pick it right back up
So
there.
yes, you know, the children are the pathway to enlightenment. I really believe that they're smarter than we are. They get things a lot faster than we do, and we had our chance. So time to move over for the young people. But Mickey Lani, my question to you was: someone's watching this morning that's lost, and they are. Maybe they've been burnt by mainstream religions or, you know, but there are people right now that are feeling really lost. And the purpose of this show is to try to bring some light into their life, into all of our lives. Just for an hour on Sunday, can we feel good and uplifted? So talk to that one person who's struggling spiritually, maybe looking for something.
It's actually interesting that you said that. I have a young man from England who messages me, and he may not believe in something. We've had this conversation, not believe in something bigger, supreme being, source, creator, Akua. But when I talked to him, I said, and he is disabled. But one of the things that brings him joy is his music. But I know, Auntie, you was talking about, like, because you cannot go outside. But I wanted to share this part with you is that I said, maybe that's how you pray. Maybe that's how you connect.
Right.
And for me, that's why I said traditions. And if it's a person who may not know their traditions, you know, again, I feel like this whole situation that's going on with the world is really teaching us how to go inwards. Because the ocean lives within us. The mountain lives within us. All the elementals and everything is us, because we are the creation of our ancestors. We are the ancestors roaming this earth. So if it's music that brings them joy, that's what they need to seek. Because I understand that journey, because I've been there. I've been through my own depressions, like feeling like hula is what kept me going, Auntie. And yes, the ocean. When I came home this last trip, missing, you know, leaving Mauna Kea and getting back here, I cried for 3 days. I was like, okay, Creator, what am I supposed to do? You know, I want to be home. And right now that's even emotional for me. But I know Creator got a big plan. And whatever that is, that we got to just trust that thing in us. So I don't even know if that's a strong point to give to anybody. But if I was talking to them, I would encourage them. I would be that friend to them. I would be that auntie, whatever that I am to them, and just keep encouraging them and being there and actually walking in kapu aloha, walking in complete love, but in complete truth with them.
You. So what, Hank? How you feel about all of that? I figure we want to get you up in here too, into the mix, but I gotta unmute your microphone. I think it was your headphone mic was giving me some trouble. Hey, Chris.
Unmute now. And while we're unmuting and figuring it out.
I'm trying to get down to unmute Uncle Hank, and it's like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
The Zoom keeps jumping around.
There we go.
Hank, tell me you're there.
Here you are.
You there?
I'm here.
Right on.
Right on, and
Can you hear me now?
thankfully you guys get to talk to each other. Thanks to HB Schaefer right here, dancing around in the morning.
Yay, Chris.
Is the video up? Okay, great.
You know, wrong one is selected though.
Oh, I see it. Got it.
Hank, say something. If you don't say something,
Hey,
you ain't
good
on the
morning. Can you guys
screen.
hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, Uncle, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh. Well, hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Aloha.
good to see you. This is a couple weeks now we've been missing you being on the show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I have been doing some good things though. I actually did a colon cleanse. Took me 5 days. little strange thing to talk about, but it's always
Well,
good to
it's
get
Sunday.
prepared.
It's Sunday morning. I guess we can go anywhere on
I
a
guess
Sunday
that was
morning.
encouraging.
Purification, Uncle, purification.
Absolutely. You guys, it's really great
I'm
to have
feeling
you
better and
joining
breathing
us
better.
here. This is really something. And I wanted to see if this roundtable sort of format could be broadcasted out because, you know, it may work well on a laptop, but can we get the signal out? And this is just perfect for me. So thanks for joining us this morning, and stand by because we're going to look over a couple of details, raise some interesting questions, and have you join us for a little discussion about some of these videos we're about to see. Mahalo, Pia. Go, sister.
Okay, so you've got some videos that we're going to play.
Yeah, I do, which ought to be really interesting. I mean, I, of course, don't know what this first one is because the way it loads doesn't give me an opportunity to see it. But
And again, if you're just joining us, this is a brand new arena for us. We're broadcasting live on YouTube this morning. Hindsite 2020, our second run. And it's been very interesting.
Hello guys. Okay, so
Here we go.
This is my first video in a series that I'm going to be doing to take people step by step
this
on
is another good
what
sister right here in
in
Hilo.
secular society, how to have a reality check so that you can create a stable life for yourself and your family without blind
talking?
spots.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first video I'm doing is how we can treat each other with divinity.
Wow. See, and
And
that's
respect.
what I was talking about. Caillou. How
did-
do you like that? How do you like these things that we're seeing cropping up all over the community?
It's amazing. A lot of people now seem to be finding a spiritual path or really going inward and how to treat each other with divinity. I have a really tough one with that. And it's really a tough one for me because I'm a fiery Scorpio. And I'm the kind of person that backs up into the corner, and then once I'm in the corner, that's it. The tail comes down.
I know what you mean, but that's not the only way people react. People react this way too. See, this young man right here, facing the coronavirus, he went out into the woods. I mean, this is interesting when we see this happening and it's beginning to post itself all over the internet.
Okay, and we don't know if you're seeing, some of you are sending us messages that you're not able to see the video.
Oh, let me jump back
Yeah,
on there
I'm not
again.
Okay,
able to
it's
see
going.
anything.
It's
going.
definitely
I
rolling.
see Kalani.
Yeah. So you see, he's out in Western Mass, and I can jump ahead here because what's really interesting is he's out here in the middle of the woods, and this guy is a blogger. But when he gets down to it, he actually wants to share with everybody what he's doing in his life experience. And he'll actually sit with us at some point. And you can find this kind of stuff all over the internet, all over the internet. And what's occurring is people are having to deal with this whole situation in a lot of different ways. I don't want to not talk about the hard stories, but I want to stay to the positive side. Something that was really interesting is coming under fire was a pastor from Louisiana. And this pastor was continuing to hold church. And when he came under fire yesterday, he said, we've lost so many people from suicide and domestic violence in the last week that really, compared to that, the coronavirus is taking relatively few of us. And he thought that it would be more important for them to get together as a community and to share in this thing. Now, I don't know if there's sensibility in that. I don't know if there's humanity in that. I'm not trying to make one of those judgments. I'm just saying it's Sunday morning. It's Sunday morning. And Sunday morning always reminds me of malasadas and big fat newspapers that come in color. You know,
comics.
Yeah, and I might be old, but that's the way I see it.
The comics. We raced to get to the newspaper so we could be the first guy to have the comics, right, Mikilani? And also brunch and church, and you know, these days Sunday for me is cup of tea. I get up and do gongyo.
Ooh, that's
mystic
it,
law.
right? Everybody's got their own little spiritual exercise that they take every morning.
But I wanted to get back to that point in the first video where the woman was talking about treating everyone with divinity. And that's a very lofty goal.
Ew.
To treat each other with divinity. And I'm going to have to do better at that for
Well,
sure.
why don't we bring our gangy back in and see what they're all about?
What do you think of that statement, Mikilani? Treating everyone with divinity. What is, you know, for me right away, I'm like, ugh.
Well, I know you know me and Auntie Sandy, you know, we talk all the time. And the interesting part is treat each other with divinity to me is no different from what we're saying at the Mauna, how we walk in kapu aloha for each other. You know, we love, but we still need to speak our truth. But and to me, they go hand in hand. And like one of the statements I made, like when this kind of first started, somebody was freaking out and talking to me, and I said, my question to you is, do you believe in the Creator? Because that's what First Nations people call Keakua. They said yes. I said no, you lie. And they looked at me. I go, try that again. I go, do you believe in the Creator? They go, yes, I do. I go, no, you don't. And they go, why do you keep saying that? I said, because if you believed in something bigger than yourself, then you would not be fearing and you would not be walking in doubt. Because we know at the end of the day, Creator got it. It's us, the human, that are trying to work it out. So that's why I say, kapu aloha, I still speak my truth. I still say the Hawaiian kingdom is here. And I will continue to walk that way because that's what I manifest. And that's what I believe in.
Wow. Yeah. When thinking about that statement, treating everyone with divinity, what do you think, Hank, about that statement?
Well, of course, I think that's absolutely marvelous. I think that
warlord.
should be the code of conduct at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy?
Well, let me state the obvious. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, you're with me, aren't you? I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it's. But I wanted to jump back a little bit because you mentioned about what do you do for people who seem to be in despair. And the pastor who says the suicides and things were more important to him than the coronavirus. Well, my career as a paramedic, I had the double-edged sword of responding to suicides and suicide attempts. It was always, of course, terribly sad when you got there too late. But when we got there in time, you know, you're riding in the back of this ambulance, taking this person who's attempted suicide to the hospital. You're riding in the back of the ambulance for 45 minutes. What are you going to talk about, TV? No. So the thing we tried to help them understand is we're never alone. Never. We are connected to each other and everything. And we're all freaking crazy and on the edge of despair, you know. It's just those moments when we remember that we're not alone and that we are connected to every other living thing that we begin to get strong again.
Uh-huh.
And that's really important. So to everybody, no matter what challenge you're facing, remember that you are not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not alone. We have each other,
Right.
definitely.
Yep.
In Buddhism, we talk about connecting, Buddha to Buddha, or people talk about that rainbow connection. And in Hawaiian, we say piko to piko, right? Because there's coming a
Yes.
time, gang, when the internet's going to go dark. And we're going to have to bring that human skill back that we used to have long time ago, yeah? And we could communicate with each other simply using our minds, yeah? Our na'au. And there is going to come a time when we're not going to have internet. We're not going to have phones. And we need to really be thinking about that.
Stop stealing my cursor.
That's the future. That we are...
Stop stealing my cursor.
Okay. And that we have some very rough things ahead of us. We have some very rough things ahead of us, and we can do it with grace. We can do it without ripping each other apart. If we become sensitive, we're stuck in the house with people, right? We become sensitive to them and what their needs are, what their triggers are. We have to really become hyper aware. That hyper awareness, and we have to really honing that spiritual skill of connecting with each other. And I know you've all done it, right? Where you think of someone and then you get out of bed and they call you on the phone, right? So this is don't you agree, Kalani? This is one of our human gifts that we have not been using.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things going on with us that we haven't been using and we're asleep at.
But I feel this is a tool that's going to be something we're going to have to really get more adept at. I know everyone on this screen right now practices what I'm talking about. So Mickey, Lani, talk about how you employ that telepathy, almost it's called, how we talk to each other. Kauna, we think of each other and then we send each other a message. How do we sharpen that skill?
Well, just like hula, right? Or anything we do in life, we got to practice. And definitely it's something I practice very constantly. Like, for example, this woman who's Hawaiian Pomo Chakta from the Pomo Nation. And I just started to I could feel something in my spirit say, tell her to take her salt. So out loud, I said it. I felt it in my na'au. And I remember I was just kind of roaming around the house and I felt it and I said, Atiana, take your salt. And then I said, Atiana, take your salt. And the third time I was like, Atiana, take your salt. The next day, I felt it in my na'au again. I did it again. The third day, she calls me. She goes, did you tell me to take my salt? I said, yes. She goes, I heard you.
Yeah.
So the realm that I've been moving around in with many, many, many people here, a lot of Native people know this. I've been speaking to many different Native people and non-Native to the land. And all of us feeling and practicing it already. And on my feeds, I talk about it. I slowly edge into it because sometimes people are afraid of it because they forgot that that's what we did at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right about that it's this sort of the understanding that the more native lifestyled people tend to get, that we're elemental, we're related to these things in the natural world. There are things that go deeper intergenerationally that move through us that we can open ourselves up to.
Right. And, it's no different from like me being trained from one to not where I'm at now in my traditions of hula, which I use it more in the spirit realm. So when I go and gather, I always talk about gathering because people can relate to that Native people. And I say how I chant and I ask permission to enter a space. And being trained in hula, we wait for the sign, just like you, Auntie Kaiolani. You wait, right? You know when to catch the right wave. You just know, you just connect to those waves. It's that deep understanding we have. And so for me as a hula dancer, as a kumu, I chant and I wait. I chant 3 times. If Creator wants me, Keakua wants me to chant again, I keep chanting. If I don't get any signs, I'm out of there. I won't go in. There's a reason why. If the signs come, and I wait for 3 signs. When I'm done, I drop my tobacco, and I say tobacco because that's what First Nations people do
Ew.
here. And I drop myself. And then I walk in, and as I go in, I'm walking with much gratefulness, and my thoughts are pure because I am now walking on sacred lands. Well, we're always walking on sacred lands.
Yo,
So-
hey, yo.
So telepathy, astral projection, I talk about all of that. And I'm going to share a little bit about this. Is I was at Boyon Puyok with a bunch of 20-year-olds, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the oldest one in here. And we talked about astral projection, and we talked about it, and I said, you see this cell phone right here? And that's funny you brought this up, Auntie Kaiulani. I said, you see this thing? They listen to us. And I said, good. I want them to know.
Ew.
Maybe they're going to. So I told them, one day this is not going to be here, but I know my spirit leaders, like Kumupua Case and many other spirit leaders that I have, we know I can feel and sense them. But I told them one day all we're going to have to do is think it and say, hey, I meet you at the
Ew.
Mauna. Boom. And we're going to astral project right up to Mauna Kea and protect her. So that's what I do believe in.
Ew.
I already am doing that in my sleep, but I just haven't been trained on how to control it. So it's kind of a very strange thing, but I know that while I'm sleeping and dreaming, I'm actually astral projecting. I am very aware of it. And so I'm practicing that, and also the telepathy of sending the messages. Right now I'm cut off from my son. He's in the hospital at Wilcox Hospital. They're not allowing any information out. I have no clue what's going on with him. So I'm connecting with him pico to pico and just sending him love and prayers every day, because if we're locked in our house and we cannot go get on a plane and visit auntie or grandma or my son, then we have to do it in a different way. And, you know, I think that we Kanaka understand this. I remember being a little girl and being outside with my grandfather, and he was so fascinating. You know, he was always doing all kinds of stuff. And he'd always tell me, shh, listen. And he'd point to his head. And we didn't talk. And we had these long conversations, I remember, as a little girl. Yeah. Right, Kalani?
Iki, I mean, I'm sure all of us remember our grandparents. We come from a generation where you could remember grandparents. You know, where the dismantling of the larger family had not occurred yet, where we hadn't descended down into our modern frosted flakes eating, you know, culture of the individual townhouse, where we live in a cluster of 5,000 people. We don't even know who's next door on the other side of the wall.
Yeah. What you think, Jimmy?
Well, it's, you know, being a native who happens to be descended from white Europeans,
Which are natives?
I can tell you that.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We're just natives from a culture who was lured away from the things you're talking about long before your guys' culture. Our European culture, we went chasing the you know, our egos engaged. We went after the money, the whatever we could perceive was power, and we lost the connection with each other and the earth.
You know, my grandfather used to say, there's 2 kinds of people in the world, and you're both of them. Right?
So true.
He would say there's Malahinis
wolf do
and
you
there's
feed?
Kama'ainas. You either understand Kama, something about the place that you come from, your family, your aina, the thing that feeds you, or you Malihina, you know, Smalihi, small kind, you know what I mean? You only been here a little bit time, you don't know what's going on. Each of us are those people. It just depends on where we're standing. You know, so graciousness maybe is something that each of us can display also.
I wanted to also say to Hanalei, I have experienced many times with you where I'm thinking about you and I'm in some kind of situation where I need prayer, and you call me, and then I share with you what's happening, and then you pray over me. I've had that experience with you more than 20 times in the years we've
tell
known
us
each
about
other.
it. Hey,
Yeah.
Do you just like go, do you get a funny feeling and you start thinking about me and go, oh, Kaiu's flipping out. I better call her.
Actually, that's exactly how it happens. I get these feelings that somebody's trying to call me, and I'll just go, well, I'll just call her.
Ew.
See what's up.
Yeah, yeah. And every single time it's been a situation I'm facing cops or, you know, trying to figure out how to get them to not dig up our bones or whatever. And I'm on the verge of tears, and then the phone will ring and it's you. And then you just say, hey, let's do hemu. Let's say a prayer, you know.
Yeah.
And I really am grateful to have had that with you all these years as a spiritual
thank you.
guide for me, Hank.
Hey, you know, I don't know if it's just my side of it. I can only see two people at once. I can see myself in a little square, and I can see Kalani, but I can't see anybody else.
Yeah, that's
Is there
because he's
something-
actually on speaker view, and every time Caillou opens her mouth, it gets back on my speaker view. I'm watching all these technical glitches because I'm gonna fix them by next week Sunday.
It's magic.
So you know,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's the beauty of being not just Kanaka, but Kepani. So I watch it and I'm not saying nothing. And Portuguese, I'm watching and I'm saying everything, you know, and I'm moving my hands too, you know what I mean, so everybody know. But
And I'm a woman who loves to push buttons.
oh yeah.
So I just got to watch which
Today
buttons.
I get to push the buttons. So I love
kind
this
buttons,
format
Cynthia.
too, where we're all on the screen now. I tell you, next Sunday, I'm gonna lock it in so Caillou is on that fifth screen, or whoever is sitting in that central chair. You know, this is a pathway problem.
Yeah, I'm like a disembodied voice.
Yeah, she is. She's like the ghost of Christmas present. She's like the ghost of Christmas
Who's
present.
this?
Hey, speaking of which, you got any Christmas presents?
I
Oh,
got
wait
a
a
Christmas
minute.
present.
Wait a
Speaking
minute.
of Christmas presents, our beautiful Veda
Who's that?
Austin has joined us from New Zealand.
Oh, hello, Veda.
Aotearoa. Good morning, Veda.
Aloha.
Good to see you.
Wait.
So this is Uncle Hank,
Hi.
Mickey, Lonnie, and Jimmy. You guys, this is Veda. She's a water protector from Aotearoa. And we had her on our Best of
Aloha.
6 Months show. You were featured on our Best of 6 Months live Songs of Sovereignty show last week, Veda, because your water, your work with that you do with water is just so amazing. So we've been having a discussion this morning about how to survive this lockdown in a more spiritual way, in a way where we're gracious and treat each other as divine beings. Mickey Lani had shared with us about her hula protocols and how she has been traveling all over the Turtle Island and praying everywhere, gathering with Native people. Hank has been sharing, we've been sharing about telepathy, how eventually the internet's going to go dark and we're going to have to figure out a way to communicate with each other. And of course, Jimmy Love has been adding in as well about how day to day he finds encouragement and being uplifted in life. So this is the discussion we're having, and what a perfect time for you to join, because
And even more perfectly, I think I figured it out. She's 2 hours behind everybody. That's why we keep missing everybody. She came in what she thought was 7 o'clock, but it's actually closer to 8. So, wow, this is going to be hard, but we're going to use. So everybody, we're extending our time. That's
Okay.
just how it is.
well, and Vita, it's the perfect time to join us because we've discussed telepathy and astral projection, the Grateful Dead, hula, sage and salt, and protecting mountains.
Take it away, sister.
And here you are bringing the water to the table. So mahalo for joining us.
Oh, you got to unmute your microphone.
Turn your volume up, sweetie.
Yeah, she'll get there, no problem. I just like looking at her in the morning. Look at that hair. And I mean that in the best possible sense.
I want to see it too. Oh, there,
Okay, there
she
she
is.
is. Yay.
Yeah, I know, Hank. We got to
Hi.
get your computer fixed.
I was trying to say I don't know how if I need to stop and start this again. If you can
No, you look fabulous.
I'm not worried about
I can barely hear.
Okay. Well, we can turn up your volume. I'm gonna turn you up here, but it's a little tough.
Yeah, my volume is all the way up. I might try on my mobile.
Okay.
No, that's okay. We got you.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. All of the topics you just discussed are something that I think are so important. The power of music, the power of dance, the power of thought, the power of emotion in a positive way. The fact that we wake up is one of the greatest gifts that we have right now. The fact that we're able to wake up, that we're able to be grateful for the fact that we're breathing in the oxygen of this planet. And as a water researcher, I've been researching water for coming up to 8 years. I look at water. I don't look at it as if I'm researching it. To me, it's a friend. To me, it is a relative. To me, it is the one that's the lifeblood that unites all of us together. And that's what I love about researching water. Is the more that I've researched water, the more that I've understood myself and the deeper meaning behind life, because through all of life runs this incredible, beautiful liquid.
I wish I could hear better.
We lost her audio again. I think it's from being way down in New Zealand. There you are. You're back.
There she is.
It seems to be intermittent, but it's probably because it's so dark and everything outside. I would have thought I'd be the only person using the Wi-Fi in the whole of the street at this time. But anyway, I was saying that water is just such a transdisciplinary, incredible lifeblood. And that's how I think of water. I think of it as something that makes 99% by molecular count of our body. And when you think about it that way, that is one of the ways in which I think is missing. People disassociate themselves with water, but we're only a cut away from liquid. We're only an emotion away from liquid. We're only a bowel motion away from liquid.
Oh,
we're only, an exercise away from liquid. And yet we don't associate ourselves with liquid at all. and yet that's exactly what we are. We're like walking liquid crystal solar panels.
Yeah, I get that. You know, my grandfather, he used to say that water was the physical manifestation of spirituality. He said everything in the physical world has a counterpart in the spiritual world, and everything in the spiritual world has a counterpart in the physical world. And he said when you take spirit power itself, translate it into the physical world, it manifests as water.
Yeah. Well, and I've been observing that. So with my own personal work with water, I call it co-creations. So I'm literally just finished the last bit on my book, which I'll be bringing out in the next few weeks. And the thing that I've discovered is that water has a unique way of expressing what it was influenced by, or what it allowed itself to influence itself by. By that, years ago, I read Masaru Emoto's book, and I read a book by Laurent Costa, and they were taking microscopic photos of water that had been influenced in some way, either by a prayer, by the word love, or by the word hate. And it responded in a way in which it either performed beautiful crystals for something that was positive, or it kind of didn't have any structure for something that wasn't, it didn't want to respond to, or it didn't like, so to speak. So I wanted to see for myself if that was actually something that was true. But back then I didn't have a microscope. So, but I had a petri dish of water, just like this. And so, so I put some water in the petri dish, literally like this. And then I noticed there was some fluff in the water. So I put my hand in to take the fluff out, consciously thinking, I wonder if my hand will have any impact on the water's memory. And then I put it in the freezer because they flash froze their water. So they were looking at ice crystals. So I put it into the freezer and I kind of thought, oh, I'll see what happens. And when I pulled it out, there was a picture of a hand, literally, in the ice. And I was kind of like freaked out. It was half the size of the Petri dish. And like, oh, surely not. And I went down to the beach because I thought, well, if there's any water that's going to hold information, it would be the sea. And I went down to the beach and I got some seawater and I put a little bit into the Petri dish and I got an image of a fish with the fins and the eye and scales. But then my freezer became my most used household appliance. And I started doing test after test. And then I started to realize something very important happened. That I started, because I was already right on the edge of what I was doing, but the fact that the body of work just kept coming back and there was more and more and more imagery showing a response, I thought, well, I'm just going to actually speak to the water. I'm just going to throw that right out there and see what happens. And so I literally said, do you know who I am? And I froze the water and I pulled it out and there were the clearest letters, VA, which are my initials for Veda Austin. And they weren't just VA separately, they were joined. And that's exactly how I link my initials when I write my initials. And then I said hi, and the word HI was written in the ice. And then I did that again, and it came back again. And then I'm like, okay, I have to look at this entirely differently because I'm working with something that responds. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to remember, is that we are mostly water, and we're on a water planet, and water has a voice. If we stop trying to look at what intelligence is based on the human yardstick, then we'll realize, how does a tree know when it's water? How does a chameleon know how to change color? How all these different questions start coming up. There is innate intelligence of all life, including water, which is the one thing that is through all life. All life is born into water, whether it's an amniotic fluid, it's in a type of jelly, or it's from an egg. That's the one defining thing, is that if you actually look at everywhere there is life, there is water. So it is the life force, the lifeblood of all creatures, all life, and that's the unifying thing. That's what I love about water, is it unites us. It doesn't separate us.
Ew. So, you see, we could go on and on and on and on, and we've gone way past our hour on Sunday morning, but that's okay with me if it's okay with you. Like I said, it's not a hard 7 o'clock. It's like a Hawaiian 7 o'clock.
It's like a Sunday morning 7 o'clock.
Up on you. Yeah, exactly. It's like that kind of early in the morning.
I wanted to just add about the water to Veda, and I'm very grateful to have had you on the show, and we're going to continue to play the discussion that we've had with you regarding water, because I always thought that I was not supposed to be a human. I was supposed to be in the ocean, and I lived most of my life is underwater. And now I'm having to live not in the water. And when I drink my water, I talk to it, and I tell her, I consider water to be female, and I tell her what my body needs, or, whatever it is. And also now I'm practicing, even when I'm in the shower, I'm talking to the water coming out of the spout and telling it what my skin needs and thanking the water. So I just wanted to kind of punctuate that water does respond. It is alive, and it is a very amazing spiritual thing when you play with water and you see what she does. Yeah, it's really amazing.
Oh my! I want to thank everybody for holding their water this long. So and give everybody an opportunity to sign off this morning with a little bit of grace. Want to remind you guys to be kind to one another. Let's go backwards. Let's start with Veda. And Veda, I'm going to have to figure out how to get you in early in the morning there or make our show an hour later. Who knows? So let's go Veda and then Uncle Hank and then Jimmy and then Mikilani and then we're out. And we'll, of course, Caillou, I'll give you the last word when we come back around.
Oh, thank you. I just think that gratitude is one of the most important things that we can feel. And that is the one thing when we wake up and we look at the world and we see it in a way in which makes us feel a little bit nervous, a little bit scared, a little bit concerned. We have all these conspiracy theories going everywhere and who knows what is right and what is wrong. But what we need to remember is that when we look into ourselves, that imagine a still pool and look inside the reflection of that pool and remember who we are.
Ooh, that was sweet, sister. That was definitely sweet. Uncle Hank, I'm trying to get you the limelight. Give us some words of wisdom.
All I can say is that this has been a very interesting experience this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not seeing everybody as they're speaking. Yeah, well, actually, it's on my iPad, on my Fire tab.
Wow.
But it seems to be working fine.
Oh, yeah, but we got to fix that. We got to get you into the 22nd century or something,
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my computer, but it's just flashing at me with a question mark, and it's like, well, that's not very good sign.
Death is coming.
Yep. Anyway, love talking with you folks, and I love listening to all the stories about the spirit and how we talk, because we all have that ability to speak to each other psychically.
Yeah.
We do that anyway. That's how we know to call each other, actually. Mm-hmm. But we need to remember how to do that and not just stick to the communications devices of today's, like computers and phones and stuff like that, because we can not only talk to each other, we can also move our spirit to the other side too.
Oh, and nobody knows better than you. You can't rely on computers.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for this morning.
Love you, and I can't wait to see you again. Hey, almost 3 weeks, house guys never see each other. We no more Corona.
Yeah.
I want to get Heineken. I don't know what you got, but maybe we can take a trip to each other's house and see each other soon.
Wave at each other in the driveway.
Yeah.
Ike.
Anyway, hello, everybody.
Love you.
Aloha, Uncle. Love you.
Love you guys.
Go, Jimmy.
Well, it's been a pleasure again to join all you folks. And I just want to remind everybody that always a good thing to do every day. Step somewhere where you feel comfortable. Take a few deep breaths and remember that we are connected. Remember the people you love, and that will bring strength and comfort to you.
Oh, beautiful, baby.
Right on.
Mikilani, what a pleasure to see you, man. Thank you so much for connecting with us. We hope to do this next Sunday again. I don't know if you buckle loose, but, I'm hoping to get others to join us in the conversation, too, in a real community about how great life is.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I think Vita, mahalo for, mentioning gratitude. Yes, I agree. Gratitude is ultimately the number one thing, even when we're facing obstacles, is to walk in that gratitude. And, Jimmy saying, step out, but step out like a Hawaiian, take off those slippers and go walk on the earth with your bare feet, And Uncle saying about remembering. I'm going to add to Uncle what he said. Don't only just remember, but practice. Practice what we believe in, And so Auntie Kayolani, mahalo for allowing me and inviting me to this group. And I look up to all of you and I appreciate all of you for all the beautiful work you all been doing. Kalani, just mahalo, 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 because
Mahalo.
even though we talk about elders, I mean, I don't know if you guys see this, and I say this in the most respectful way, and this is what natives say. You guys have been doing the work. And like I told Uncle Hank when I saw him, we looking up to you guys so we can take the next steps for the next 7 generations and show them how to stand for our world that is sacred. So mahalo.
Mahalo, yo. You
Mahalo.
guys, you know, I think it's interesting to note that it is not so much the information, the cultural significant information. It's really about the transfer of the information. It's not so much about what we all hold in our coffers or the data sets. It's, do we transfer this knowledge in a right way between the generations? Do the traditions continue? Does the information move forward? And remember, my grandfather always used to say, the past should always have a voice in everything you do. Hey, but he used to say the past should never have a vote. So it shouldn't control you. It should always inform you. These problems we're going to deal with today, as we are dealing with today, are not the problems of the past. They look similar. It looks a little like cholera, a little bit like the Spanish flu, but hey, maybe this thing was dropped on us on purpose. Hey, wait a minute, Sunday morning. Leave that kind of stuff alone. Caillou, tell us something good.
I just want to mahalo everyone for joining us. We have quite a few people watching online. Julie and Paulette are jumping out right now, amongst others. Thanks for joining us on YouTube this morning. Please join us next week for Hindsite 2020, 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. And please join me on Wednesday, 9 a.m. for Songs of Sovereignty, your Kia'i News Network. And I just want to say, as we go through this week, every day is a new day. Every moment is a fresh moment to make your determination how you want to be and what you want to have happen. And then you fuel that with your actions and take that through the week. So we've talked about dancing hula and playing music, interacting with water, practicing our telepathic and astral projection, and mostly Marsha Erickson, one of my dear mentors of life that practiced Buddhism with me. She always said, when you're walking in the dark, don't forget to look up. Have a great week. We love you.
Woo! Well, that's really fantastic and hard to beat. So thanks again.
Hey, I have a
for
question.
joining us on a Sunday morning. We're gonna leave you with a little video cue, something from long time ago when I was feeling a little bit better and playing some music. So I hope you enjoy.
And that really we aren't justified in our actions so much as we are in the way we are. Not what we're doing, but who we are when we do it. Is really the thing that defines. And most of us find it so easy to give in to a little bit of pressure. A lot of us are so much better when there's a lot of pressure. When there's a lot of pressure, somehow you stand up, you get that gumption. It's like a big threat is somehow easier to stand up to than a little threat. Especially the ones that just kind of creep in and you don't even know where they come from, and suddenly they're there, and you're responding to them. So I was in Okinawa with Julie, who's the best part of me. And this song was given to me by the moon, which I thought was really interesting. You probably understand what I mean. Just because, wait a minute, just because Bill O'Reilly he smiles, that don't make him your friend. When the lies with the politics, we've been outfoxed again. Government in crisis, financial disaster. Both the slaves and the masters can't win. Just because we won't heed the warnings, and the climate change is getting hard to deny. Turn from the destruction, the desert, the storm, and it's a prayer to keep us from the harm. Wait a minute, is that the moon up in the sky? Don't the stars come out whenever the evening arrives, and the sun shines softly in the morning light? There are things that we can count on in our lives. Just because. Wait a minute. Just because. Oh, they left you for another. That's a just cause to move on with your life. Everybody got their own personal drama, and you learn to live with the pain and strife. Just because, oh, our hearts can be broken when we vote for heroes and they sign off on lies. Just when you think the whole thing is over, you discover you can keep hope alive. Wait a minute, is that the wind through the trees? Are the clouds rolling by on a soft breeze? Are the bees still buzzing in healthy hives? There are things that we should never sacrifice. Just because. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that the moon up in the sky? And though the stars come out whenever the evening arrives, and the sun shines softly in the morning light, and I know, yeah, I know. Wait a minute, is that the ocean I smell? And my heart moves to the rhythm of a big blue swell. From the top of the atmosphere to the deep I dive, and I know that our children will survive. There are things we can count on in our lives. Wait a minute. Just because. See how easy that is?
Goodbye, everybody. We're going to see you next Sunday. I hope. These days, who knows?